Welcome back to Detroit Motor Marvels, the channel where we celebrate everything that makes the automotive world tick. You know me, I love a good car story. And let me tell you, these high-end car auctions are full of them. We're talking about events where rare classics, vintage sports cars, and even those one-of-a-kind concept cars you only dreamed about change hands for millions. It's not just about the cars, though. It's about the history, the passion, and the stories behind these incredible machines. So buckle up because today, we're going behind the velvet ropes and into the exciting world of multi-million-dollar car auctions. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of the action. Now, you can't have a multi-million-dollar car auction without, well, multi-million-dollar cars, right? We're talking about the creme de la creme of the automotive world. Think rare Ferraris, pristine Bugattis, maybe even a Duesenberg or two. These aren't just cars. They're rolling pieces of art, history, and engineering genius. The auction houses, they spend months, sometimes even years tracking these beauties down. They're like treasure hunters, scouring private collections, digging through dusty barns, going to the ends of the earth to find that one perfect car. And once they find it, well, the real work begins. These cars don't just show up looking like they belong in a museum. There's a whole lot of TLC that goes into getting them ready for prime time. Mechanics go over every inch, every nut and bolt to make sure these cars are in tip-top shape, mechanically sound and ready to roll. It's about creating an aura, an allure that draws those high-roller bidders in and makes them open up their wallets. Okay, so you've found your million-dollar masterpiece. Now, it's time to get it ready for its close-up. This is where the real artistry comes in, folks. We're talking about automotive detailing taken to a whole new level. First, they give these cars a bath like they've never had before. I'm talking multiple stages of washing, clay bar treatments to remove every last imperfection, and then buffing and polishing until the paint shines like a mirror. You could practically see your reflection in the hood. Next, the interior gets the royal treatment. They meticulously clean and condition every surface, from the leather seats to the wooden dashboard. If there are any tears or cracks, they'll find the best craftsmen in the world to repair them, using materials that match the original stitching and texture. And let's not forget about the engine bay. Every hose, wire, and bolt is inspected and cleaned. They want the engine to look as good as it did the day it rolled off the assembly line, maybe even better. These detailers are like automotive detectives, because in the world of multi-million-dollar car auctions, perfection isn't a goal, it's the expectation. You know, people outside the collector car world, they might think an auction catalog is just a glorified brochure. But let me tell you, they couldn't be more wrong. In the world of high-end car auctions, the catalog is practically a sacred text. I'm talking about a beautifully bound, high-quality production with stunning photography that captures every curve and detail of these automotive works of art. But it's more than just pretty pictures, folks. Each car gets its own spread, sometimes even multiple pages with a detailed history, production numbers, and any unique features that make it special. You'll find out where it was first sold, who owned it, and maybe even a few juicy stories about its past. Think of it like a car's resume, highlighting all its accomplishments and pedigree. For collectors, this information is gold. A good catalog can make or break an auction. Now let's talk about the people who actually buy these million-dollar machines. Trust me, this isn't your average used car lot crowd. We're talking about a select group of collectors, investors, and celebrities with deep pockets and an even deeper passion for automotive excellence. You don't just waltz into one of these auctions and raise your hand. Oh no, there's a certain level of exclusivity involved. Most of the time, you need to register in advance, prove you have the financial means to play in this league, and then you might get an invitation. And once you're in, you're rubbing elbows with some serious players. We're talking about captains of industry, Hollywood A-listers, and maybe even a few royalty types. These are people who could buy and sell most of us 10 times over. The atmosphere is electric, a mix of nervous anticipation and competitive spirit. It's a high-stakes game of poker, and the stakes have never been higher. Okay, it's showtime. Auction day is here, and the energy in the room is palpable. You can feel the excitation. It's like the air itself is charged with electricity. The auctioneer takes the stage and the room falls silent. He starts the bidding and suddenly it's like a high-speed tennis match with numbers flying back and forth. Hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, changing hands with a nod of the head or a wave of a paddle. The phones are ringing off the hook with bids coming in from all over the world. You've got collectors in Dubai, tycoons in Tokyo, all vying for the same piece of automotive history. It's a global affair, and the stakes have never been higher. And then there are the bidding wars. Two or more determined collectors, locked in a battle of wills and wallets, each determined to outbid the other. The price climbs higher and higher, pushing the limits of what anyone thought the car was worth. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. You can hear a pin drop as the auctioneer tries to coax one more bid, one more nod, to push the price even higher. And then, just when you think it can't get any more intense, the hammer falls. Now, you might think the auctioneer's job is easy. Just stand up there and rattle off numbers, right? Wrong. These folks, they're more than just auctioneers. They're performers, showmen, and masters of persuasion. They've got this rhythm, this cadence, this way of speaking that's almost hypnotic. They build excitement, create urgency, and draw the bidders in with their words and their presence. It's a delicate dance, knowing when to push, when to hold back, when to inject a little humor to lighten the mood. They're reading the room, gauging the bidders' reactions, and adjusting their approach on the fly. A good auctioneer can take a car that's expected to sell for $1 million and drive the price up to $2 million. They know how to highlight the car's best features, to tell its story in a way that resonates with the bidders. And let's not forget about the voice. They're the ringmasters of this high-stakes circus, keeping the energy high, the bids flowing, and the show running smoothly. Now here's something you might not know about these high roller car auctions. Not every car sells. Yep, you heard that right. Sometimes, no matter how beautiful the car, no matter how high the bidding goes, it's just not enough. See, most of these cars have what's called a reserve price. That's the minimum amount the seller is willing to accept. It's confidential, of course, known only to the auction house and the seller. The auctioneer will start the bidding below the reserve just to get things going. But if the bids don't reach that magic number, well, the hammer won't fall, the car goes unsold, and the seller still owns it. The auctioneer, they'll do their best to coax those bids higher, but sometimes it's just not meant to be. But hey, that's part of the game, right? Alright, so the hammer falls, the crowd cheers, a multi-million-dollar car has found a new home. But the story doesn't end there. Now comes the paperwork, the handshakes, and of course the celebratory champagne. Buyers and sellers, they gather in a private room, away from the hustle and bustle of the auction floor. Contracts are signed, funds are transferred, and everyone breathes a sigh of relief. It's a moment of culmination, of satisfaction, of a deal well made. But behind the scenes, the auction house is busy crunching numbers. They've got to calculate their commission, which can be anywhere from 5% to 10% of the sale price. Not a bad day at the office, right? Then there's the logistics of getting the car to its new owner. It's a well-oiled machine, this whole process, from the moment the car arrives at the auction house to the moment it's delivered to its new owner. Now, we've talked a lot about the cars, the bidders, the auctioneers, but let's take a moment to appreciate the folks who work behind the scenes, the unsung heroes who make these events possible. We're talking about the mechanics who spend countless hours getting these cars running like a Swiss watch. They're the ones who know every nut and bolt, every quirk and nuance of these vintage machines. Then there are the detailers, the ones who make those paint jobs gleam, and those interiors shine like new. They're artists in their own right, transforming these cars into rolling works of art. And let's not forget about the logistics teams, the ones who handle the transportation, the setup, the takedown. They might not get the glory, but they're an essential part of the whole shebang. So the auction is over, the cars are gone, the crowds have dispersed. But the story doesn't end there. These multi-million-dollar sales, they have a ripple effect that extends far beyond the auction block. For the cars themselves, it's a new chapter in their story. Some will be tucked away in private collections, only to be seen by a select few. Others will be showcased at prestigious events, giving enthusiasts a chance to admire their beauty up close. And then there are the museums, the guardians of automotive history. These institutions, they preserve these rolling masterpieces for future generations, ensuring that their legacy lives on. It's a fascinating ecosystem, this world of high-end car collecting. Well, there you have it, a glimpse behind the curtain of the exhilarating world of multi-million-dollar car auctions. It's a fascinating blend of history, passion, and high-stakes excitement, all centered around these incredible machines. Which part of the process surprised you the most? The meticulous detailing, the intense bidding wars, or maybe the unseen heroes working tirelessly behind the scenes? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next deep dive into the automotive world. Until then, keep those engines revving.